The Galactic Council's decision to feed a human to the Devourer backfires spectacularly when their sacrifice proves more formidable than anticipated. As the emergency session of the Council draws to a close, the fate of Jesse Murray, a 28-year-old human explorer, hangs in the balance. The chamber, filled with representatives from advanced alien races, buzzes with tension as the verdict is announced. The human threat must be neutralized, declares the Vulcan High Counselor, his logical demeanor masking the gravity of the situation. We shall offer this Jesse Murray to the Devourer, satisfying its hunger and eliminating the need for large-scale conflict with humanity. Quinn, a female Vulcan scientist specializing in xenobiology, receives her assignment with a mix of curiosity and trepidation. She's to escort the human to the Devourer's lair on a remote hostile planet. As she boards the small spacecraft provided by the Council, Quinn can't help but wonder about the ethics of their decision. Jesse Murray, unaware of his impending doom, finds himself rudely awakened from stasis. His eyes adjust to the harsh lighting of the ship's hold as Quinn approaches. She explains the situation with clinical detachment, revealing the Council's plan and the supposed inevitability of his fate. "You're to be sacrificed to the Devourer," Quinn states, her voice devoid of emotion. "The Council believes your death will prevent a war with humanity." Jesse processes this information, his mind racing. Years of exploring Earth's most dangerous frontiers have honed his survival instincts. He remains silent, already formulating a plan to turn the tables on the Galactic Council. As their spacecraft descends through the atmosphere of the desolate planet, Jesse observes the harsh landscape below. Jagged rock formations pierce through swirling toxic clouds, while strange bioluminescent vegetation dots the barren surface. Upon landing, Jesse and Quinn disembark, facing the planet's hostile environment. The air is thick and acrid, forcing them to rely on their protective suits. Jesse's eyes dart around, taking in every detail of their surroundings. He notices subtle movements in the alien flora, triggering a familiar sensation, the same one he experienced when communicating with Earth's most dangerous creatures. Quinn watches Jesse with growing curiosity. His behavior defies her expectations of a doomed man. Instead of fear or resignation, she observes a focused determination in his eyes. As they begin their trek across the alien terrain, Jesse's unique ability becomes increasingly apparent. A carnivorous plant lunges at them, its barbed tentacles seeking prey. Jesse steps forward, making a series of clicks and whistles. To Quinn's astonishment, the plant retreats, allowing them safe passage. This display of communication with non-humanoid life forms challenges everything Quinn thought she knew about humans. As they continue their journey towards the Devourer's lair, Jesse's confidence grows. He begins to share his experiences as an explorer with Quinn, recounting tales of Earth's most treacherous environments and the creatures he encountered there. "On Earth, I learned that every living thing has a language," Jesse explains. "It's just a matter of learning to listen and speak in the right way." Quinn's skepticism slowly gives way to fascination. She starts to question the Council's decision, realizing that perhaps they've grossly underestimated humanity's potential. As the looming silhouette of the Devourer's lair appears on the horizon, Jesse's determination solidifies into a daring plan. "I'm not just going to survive this, Quinn," he declares, his voice steady and resolute. "I'm going to tame the Devourer, and when I do, the Galactic Council will have to reconsider their stance on humanity." Quinn, caught between her duty to the Council and her growing respect for Jesse, faces a decision that could change the course of galactic history. As they approach the lair, the ground trembles beneath their feet, signaling the awakening of the Devourer. The true test of Jesse's unique abilities and humanity's place in the cosmos is about to begin. As Jesse and Quinn set foot on the hostile alien terrain, the full gravity of their situation became apparent. The planet's surface was a tapestry of danger, with carnivorous plants dotting the landscape and noxious gases swirling in the air. Jesse's eyes narrowed as he scanned their surroundings, his senses heightened by years of exploring Earth's most treacherous environments. "Stay close," Jesse warned Quinn, his voice muffled by his protective suit. "This place makes the Amazon look like a walk in the park." They hadn't gone far when a vine-like creature, camouflaged against the rocky ground, lashed out at Quinn's ankle. Before she could react, Jesse interposed himself between her and the threat. He emitted a series of low, guttural sounds that seemed to resonate with the plant. To Quinn's amazement, the vine retreated, coiling back into its hiding spot. "How did you do that?" Quinn asked, her scientific curiosity piqued. Jesse shrugged, a hint of a smile on his face. "Like I said, every living thing has a language. This one just needed a firm no." As they pressed on, Quinn found herself observing Jesse more closely. His movements were fluid and purposeful, his reactions to the alien environment almost instinctual. She began to notice patterns in his interactions with the planet's lifeforms. The way he tilted his head before making a sound, the subtle hand gestures that accompanied his vocalizations. Their progress was slow but steady until they encountered a field of shimmering, translucent pods. The air around them pulsed with an eerie, otherworldly energy. "We need to go around," Quinn stated, consulting her handheld scanner. "These pods contain a highly toxic gas." Jesse studied the field, his brow furrowed in concentration. After a moment, he shook his head. "Going around will take too long. We need to go through." Before Quinn could protest, Jesse approached the nearest pod. He placed his hand near it, not touching, but close enough to feel the energy emanating from its surface. Then he began to whistle, a haunting, melodic sound that seemed to resonate with the pods themselves. To Quinn's astonishment, a path began to clear through the field. The pods nearest to them retracted into the ground, creating a narrow corridor. "Quick," Jesse urged. "It won't last long." They hurried through the opening, the pods closing behind them as they passed. Once clear, Quinn turned to Jesse, her eyes wide with a mixture of awe and scientific fascination. "That was incredible," she admitted. "You're full of surprises, Jesse Murray." As night fell, they sought shelter from the planet's harsh elements. A violent acid rainstorm forced them into a small cave, barely big enough for two. The close quarters left them pressed against each other, their breath mingling in the confined space. Quinn found herself acutely aware of Jesse's proximity, the warmth of his body, the steady rhythm of his breathing. It stirred something in her that she hadn't expected. She'd never been this close to a human before, and she was surprised by the intensity of her reaction. "You okay?" Jesse asked, his voice low and concerned. Quinn nodded, not trusting herself to speak. As they huddled together for warmth, she couldn't help but study the contours of his face, the set of his jaw, the intensity in his eyes. She found herself wondering what it would be like to touch him without the barrier of their protective suits. The night passed slowly, filled with unspoken tension and stolen glances. When morning came, they emerged from the cave to find the landscape transformed. The acid rain had carved new pathways through the terrain, revealing glimpses of what lay beneath the planet's surface. As they continued their journey, they stumbled upon the ruins of an ancient civilization. Crumbling structures of an unfamiliar design jutted from the ground, covered in intricate hieroglyphs. Jesse's eyes lit up with curiosity. "We should check it out," he suggested. "There might be something here that could help us with the Devourer." Quinn hesitated, torn between her duty to complete their mission and her scientific interest. In the end, curiosity won out. They carefully made their way into the ruins, Jesse taking the lead, his senses alert for any hidden dangers. As they explored, they discovered artifacts and inscriptions that hinted at the true nature of the Devourer. Quinn translated what she could, her excitement growing with each new piece of information. "Jesse," she said, her voice filled with wonder, "these hieroglyphs suggest that the Devourer isn't just a mindless beast. It's intelligent, possibly even capable of complex communication." Jesse absorbed this information, his mind already racing with possibilities. "If that's true, then maybe we can reason with it, communicate with it somehow." Quinn found herself nodding, caught up in Jesse's enthusiasm. "It's possible, but how would we even begin to establish communication with such a creature?" Jesse's eyes gleamed with grit. "The same way I've been communicating with everything else on this planet. We listen, we observe, and we find a way to speak its language." As they left the ruins, armed with this new knowledge, Quinn found herself seeing Jesse in a new light. His adaptability, his unique skills, and his unwavering purpose in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds, all of it challenged her preconceptions about humans. Their journey continued, each step bringing them closer to the Devourer's lair and the confrontation that would decide not just their fate, but potentially that of humanity and the entire galaxy. The challenges they faced grew more intense, the alien life forms more bizarre and dangerous. Fields of hallucinogenic spores tested their persistence, while swarms of telepathic insects probed at the edges of their minds. Through it all, Jesse's instincts and abilities guided them, with Quinn finding herself relying more and more on his judgment. As they navigated these perils together, the bond between them deepened. Quinn found herself opening up to Jesse, sharing her own experiences and doubts. In turn, Jesse revealed more about his life on Earth, the adventures that had shaped him into the man he was. Their conversations, punctuated by moments of danger and adrenaline-fueled escapes, created an intimacy that neither had expected. Quinn began to question her loyalty to the Galactic Council, wondering if their decision to sacrifice Jesse had been a grave mistake. As they approached the final stretch before the Devourer's lair, a new threat emerged. A group of alien scavengers, drawn by the unusual activity in the area, began to stalk them. Jesse noticed their presence first, his heightened awareness picking up on subtle signs that Quinn might have missed. "We're being followed," he whispered to Quinn, his body tensing for action. "At least 3 of them, maybe more." Quinn's hand instinctively moved to her weapon. "What's the plan?" Jesse's eyes scanned their surroundings, quickly formulating a strategy. "We need to use the terrain to our advantage. Follow my lead." What followed was a tense game of cat and mouse through the alien landscape. Jesse led them through treacherous ravines and past dangerous life forms, using his ability to communicate with the local flora and fauna to set traps for their pursuers. Quinn watched in awe as Jesse outmaneuvered the scavengers at every turn. His combat skills, honed by years of surviving in Earth's most dangerous environments, were impressive to behold. When they finally confronted their attackers, Jesse's quick thinking and Quinn's technical knowledge allowed them to disable the scavengers' weapons and drive them off. As the adrenaline of the encounter faded, Quinn found herself looking at Jesse with new eyes. The respect and admiration she felt for him had deepened into something more, something she wasn't quite ready to name. Their victory was short-lived, however, as they crested a rise and found themselves staring down into a massive crater. At its center, shrouded in swirling mists and crackling with strange energies, lay the entrance to the Devourer's lair. The ominous sounds echoing from the depths below sent a shiver down Quinn's spine. She turned to Jesse, seeing her own mix of fear and purpose reflected in his eyes. "This is it," Jesse said, his voice low and intense. "Everything we've been through. Everything we've learned. It all comes down to this." Quinn nodded, her hand unconsciously reaching for Jesse's. "Whatever happens down there, I'm glad I'm facing it with you." For a moment, the tension between them, built up over their harrowing journey, threatened to overwhelm them. Their eyes met, and Quinn found herself leaning towards Jesse, drawn by an irresistible force. But the moment passed, both of them acutely aware of the monumental task that lay ahead. With a shared look of understanding, they turned towards the crater, ready to face whatever awaited them in the Devourer's lair. As they began their descent, Quinn couldn't help but wonder what the outcome of their encounter would be. Would Jesse's unique abilities be enough to communicate with the Devourer? And if they succeeded, how would it change the balance of power in the galaxy? With each step into the unknown, Quinn realized that regardless of the outcome, her perspective on humanity, and on Jesse in particular, had been irrevocably changed. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew that facing them together gave them a fighting chance. As they began their descent into the crater, the air grew thick with an otherworldly mist that seemed to pulse with its own rhythm. The steep walls of the crater were slick with a bioluminescent substance that cast an eerie glow over their path. Jesse led the way, his movements careful and deliberate as he navigated the treacherous terrain. Quinn followed close behind, her scientific curiosity piqued by the strange formations that surrounded them. As they ventured deeper, the narrow passage opened into a vast chamber that took their breath away. The walls were alive with pulsating organic structures, their surfaces rippling with patterns of light that seemed to respond to their presence. "This is incredible," Quinn whispered, her voice filled with awe. "The entire cavern system appears to be a living organism." Jesse nodded, his eyes scanning the room. "And it's all connected. I can feel it. It's like the whole place is breathing." They moved cautiously through the chamber, aware that any misstep could trigger an unwanted response from the living architecture around them. Jesse's ability to communicate with non-humanoid lifeforms proved invaluable as he sensed the subtle shifts in the environment, guiding them safely through the maze-like structure. As they progressed deeper into the lair, they encountered a series of smaller chambers, each filled with strange artifacts and remnants of what appeared to be previous offerings. Quinn's eyes widened as she recognized technology from various alien civilizations, some far more advanced than anything she had seen before. "Look at this," Jesse called out, his voice tinged with excitement. He was crouched over a small device, its surface covered in intricate markings. Quinn hurried over, her breath catching as she realized what it was. "A universal translation device. This could be exactly what we need." Jesse quickly set to work, his nimble fingers dancing over the device's controls as he integrated it with their existing communication systems. The enhanced translator hummed to life, its soft glow a stark contrast to the organic pulsations of their surroundings. With their new tool in hand, they pressed on, the air growing thicker and more charged with each step. The final chamber loomed before them, a massive cavern that seemed to stretch endlessly in all directions. As they entered, the full force of the Devourer's presence hit them like a physical blow. Quinn stumbled, her pupils dilating from the overwhelming sensations that assaulted her senses. Jesse reached out to steady her, his own body rigid with tension as he fought to maintain his composure. Before them, filling the chamber with its immense presence, was the Devourer. It was a swirling mass of energy and matter, constantly shifting and reforming, its very existence seeming to defy the laws of physics. Tendrils of light and shadow reached out from its core, probing the air around them. Jesse took a deep breath, centering himself as he prepared to make contact. He activated the enhanced translator and opened his mind, reaching out to the cosmic entity before them. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Jesse gasped as his mind was flooded with images, sensations, and concepts that stretched the limits of his understanding. Through the chaos, a clear message began to form. It's not what we thought," Jesse said, his voice strained with effort. "The Devourer doesn't consume life. It absorbs knowledge, experiences." Quinn watched in amazement as Jesse communicated with the entity, his face a mix of concentration and wonder. As the exchange continued, the truth of the Devourer's nature and purpose began to unfold. "The Galactic Council," Jesse continued, "they've been using it as a tool, but they don't understand what it really is." The Devourer's message flowed through Jesse, revealing its true purpose as a guardian of galactic balance, tasked with preventing any single species from dominating the cosmos. As the entity shared its vast knowledge and experience, Jesse and Quinn found their perspectives shifting, their understanding of the universe expanding in ways they had never imagined. The cosmic being, impressed by Jesse's ability to communicate and the potential it sensed in humanity, presented him with a choice: to merge with the Devourer and become part of its collective consciousness, or to serve as its ambassador to the galaxy. As Jesse contemplated this monumental decision, Quinn felt a profound shift within herself. Watching Jesse interact with this ancient, intelligent being, she saw humanity's potential in a new light. Her admiration for Jesse, already strong, deepened into something more profound. The Devourer, sensing the connection between Jesse and Quinn, offered a third option. It proposed to imbue them both with a fraction of its power, allowing them to serve as joint ambassadors. However, this process would require them to form a bond deeper than anything they had experienced before. Jesse turned to Quinn, his eyes searching hers. "What do you think? Are you willing to take this journey with me?" Quinn's heart raced as she considered the implications. The attraction between them, which had been building throughout their harrowing adventure, now seemed to pulse with an almost tangible energy. She nodded, her decision made. "Yes," she said, her voice firm. Whatever comes next, we face it together. With their agreement, the Devourer's energy surged around them, enveloping them in a cocoon of swirling light and shadow. As the transformation began, Jesse and Quinn reached for each other, their hands intertwining as they prepared to transcend the boundaries of their former selves. The process was intense, pushing them to the limits of their physical and mental endurance. Their bodies seemed to dissolve and reform, merging with each other and with the cosmic energy that surrounded them. Through it all, they clung to each other, their shared experience forging a connection deeper than either had thought possible. As the cocoon of energy pulsed around them, Jesse and Quinn felt their minds expanding, filling with knowledge and power beyond their wildest dreams. The Devourer guided them through the transformation, teaching them to harness their new abilities and understand the immense responsibility that came with their role as galactic ambassadors. Time seemed to lose all meaning as they floated in this state of cosmic flux. When the process finally began to slow, Jesse and Quinn emerged changed, their bodies radiating with a subtle energy that marked them as something more than human, more than their original species. They stood before the Devourer, now able to perceive its true form and communicate with it on a level they never could have imagined before. The cosmic entity imparted its final lessons, preparing them for the task that lay ahead. As the transformation completed, Jesse and Quinn turned to face each other, their enhanced senses allowing them to see the profound changes they had undergone. Their bodies glowed with an inner light, and their minds were linked in a way that transcended normal communication. With a shared look of tenacity, they prepared to leave the Devourer's lair and confront the Galactic Council. The fate of Earth, in the balance of power in the galaxy, now rested on their shoulders. As they began their ascent back to the surface, they knew that their greatest challenge still lay ahead, convincing the Council of the truth and ushering in a new era of understanding between species. The journey that had brought them to this point had been fraught with danger and discovery. Now, as they emerged from the depths of the Devourer's lair, Jesse and Quinn faced an even greater adventure, one that would reshape the very fabric of galactic society. As they stepped out of the crater, the alien landscape seemed to pulse with new life, mirroring the cosmic energy that now flowed through their veins. Jesse took a deep breath, his enhanced senses picking up every minute detail of their surroundings. "We need to move quickly," he said, his voice resonating with newfound authority. "The Council must be informed of what we've learned." Quinn nodded, her mind already racing with the implications of their transformation. As they began to walk, she noticed a subtle shift in the air around them. With a thought, she manipulated the atmosphere, creating a bubble of breathable air that moved with them. "Impressive," Jesse remarked, a smile playing on his lips. "We'll need to explore the full extent of these abilities." Their journey to the nearest spaceport was swift, their enhanced physiques allowing them to cover ground at an astonishing pace. As they approached the bustling hub of interstellar travel, they could sense the curious and sometimes fearful gazes of various alien species. "We'll need a faster ship," Quinn said, her eyes scanning the docking bays. "Something that can get us to the Council's headquarters quickly." Jesse's gaze settled on a sleek black vessel near the edge of the spaceport. "That one," he said, pointing. "It's perfect." As they approached the ship, its owner, a gruff-looking Zaxarian trader, moved to block their path. "This ain't for sale or rent, humans," he growled. Jesse locked eyes with the trader, establishing a subtle mental link. "We need your ship," he said calmly. "The hope of the universe depends on it. We'll return it to you, unharmed." The Zaxarian's eyes widened as Jesse's influence washed over him. Without another word, he handed over the access codes and stepped aside. As they boarded the ship, Quinn's fingers danced over the controls, interfacing with the alien technology as if she'd been piloting it her entire life. The vessel hummed to life, lifting off the ground with a grace that belied its size. They had barely cleared the planet's atmosphere when a transmission crackled through the ship's comm system. "Unidentified vessel, this is Captain Marcus Chen of the Earthship Horizon. Please respond." Jesse and Quinn exchanged a look. "Earth?" Quinn whispered, surprised to encounter fellow humans so far from home. Jesse opened the channel. "Captain Chen, this is Jesse Reeves. We have urgent business with the Galactic Council. Our mission is of utmost importance to Earth and the entire galaxy. There was a pause before Chen's voice came through again, tinged with suspicion. Jesse Reeves, the diplomat who went missing on the Council station, and who's we? It's a long story, Captain, Quinn interjected, one we'd be happy to share if you'd be willing to meet with us. After a moment of deliberation, Chen agreed to a rendezvous. The Horizon, a much larger exploration vessel, came into view as they approached the designated coordinates. As they docked with the Earth ship, Jesse and Quinn could sense the mix of curiosity and apprehension emanating from the crew. They stepped onto the Horizon's deck, immediately drawing gasps from the assembled humans. Captain Chen, a stern-faced man with salt and pepper hair, stepped forward. "My God," he breathed, taking in their transformed appearance. "What happened to you?" Over the next hour, Jesse and Quinn recounted their experience with the Devourer, carefully omitting certain details that might be too overwhelming. They demonstrated some of their newfound abilities, establishing brief mental links with key crew members to share glimpses of their encounter. As understanding dawned on Captain Chen's face, his demeanor softened. "This changes everything," he said, running a hand through his hair. "The Council needs to know about this immediately. We'll escort you there." With the Horizon leading the way, they set a course for the Galactic Council's space station. As they approached, the massive structure came into view, its gleaming spires a testament to the combined technological prowess of countless alien civilizations. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout both ships. A fleet of Council defense vessels materialized from behind a nearby moon, weapons trained on them. "Attention, Earth vessels!" A stern voice echoed through the comm systems. "You are ordered to power down and prepare to be boarded. Any resistance will be met with lethal force." Jesse's eyes sharp as he surveyed the situation. "We can't let them stop us now," he said, turning to Quinn. "Are you ready?" Quinn nodded, her eyes glowing with perseverance. "Together," she said, reaching for his hand. As their fingers intertwined, a surge of power flowed between them. They reached out with their minds, creating a protective barrier around both ships. The Council's weapons fire dissipated harmlessly against the shimmering field. "Captain Chen," Jesse called out, "get us to that docking bay. We'll handle the rest." The Horizon's engines roared to life, pushing through the Council's blockade. Jesse and Quinn worked in perfect synchronization, redirecting energy blasts and clearing a path through the chaos. As they neared the station, Quinn's eyes narrowed in concentration. With a gesture, she manipulated the docking bay's force field, creating an opening just large enough for their ships to slip through. The moment they touched down, Jesse and Quinn sprinted from the ship, their enhanced speed leaving the Horizon's crew struggling to keep up. They raced through the station's corridors, effortlessly evading security forces and overriding locked doors with their newfound abilities. They burst into the Council chambers, interrupting a heated emergency session. The gathered representatives fell silent, their alien faces a mix of shock, fear, and awe. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council," Jesse announced, his voice ringing with authority. "We bring news that will forever change the course of galactic history." As Quinn prepared to address the stunned council, alarms blared throughout the chamber. The Krex delegation, a notoriously aggressive species, had seized the moment to launch their own agenda. Armed Krex warriors poured into the room, their weapons trained on Jesse and Quinn. The chamber erupted into chaos as council members scrambled for cover. Jesse and Quinn stood their ground, their bodies glowing with almost unchecked energy as they prepared to face this unexpected threat and fight for humanity's future among the stars. Stars. The Krex warriors advanced, their weapons humming with deadly energy. Jesse and Quinn exchanged a quick glance, their enhanced senses already formulating a plan. "We mean you no harm," Jesse called out, his voice resonating with a newfound authority. "We're here to address the Council on matters of galactic importance." The lead Krex, a towering figure with iridescent scales, snarled. "Silence, human! Your kind has no place here." Quinn stepped forward, her eyes glowing with an inner light. "We've been transformed by an ancient power. Please, hear us out before—" A blast of energy erupted from one of the Krex weapons, aimed directly at Quinn. In a heartbeat, Jesse raised his hand, creating a shimmering barrier that absorbed the attack. The council members gasped in awe. "Enough!" a booming voice echoed through the chamber. The Grand Arbiter, a wizened being of indeterminate species, rose from their seat. "These humans have clearly been altered by forces beyond our understanding. We will hear them out." The Kreks reluctantly lowered their weapons, though their eyes remained fixed on Jesse and Quinn with a mixture of fear and hatred. Over the next hour, Jesse and Quinn recounted their experience with the Devourer, demonstrating their newfound abilities and sharing the cosmic entity's message of unity. The council listened in rapt attention, their reactions ranging from wonder to skepticism. As they finished their tale, the chamber erupted into heated debate. Species argued back and forth about the implications of this revelation and humanity's place in the galactic community. The Grand Arbiter raised a hand for silence. "It is clear that we cannot ignore this development. However, we must proceed with caution. I propose a probationary period for humanity's integration into our galactic society." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber, but the Kreks delegation's leader stepped forward, his scales jam-packed. "And what of these enhanced humans? They possess powers that could threaten us all." The Arbiter turned to Jesse and Quinn. "Indeed, to prove humanity's worth and your own intentions, we must ask you to undertake a mission of utmost importance." Jesse nodded, feeling Quinn's agreement through their mental link. "We're ready to serve, Arbiter." "Very well," the Arbiter continued. "There is a long-standing conflict between the Zorn and Vexari races that threatens an entire sector. Your task will be to mediate this dispute and bring peace to the region." Quinn stepped forward. "We accept this mission, Arbiter. When do we leave?" "Immediately," the Arbiter replied. "Captain Chen and the Horizon will transport you to the conflict zone, but first you must undergo intensive training to harness your new abilities." Over the next few weeks, Jesse and Quinn pushed the boundaries of their transformation. They discovered they could share sensory experiences, access each other's memories, and even amplify their powers when working in tandem. Their bond deepened, blurring the lines between their individual selves. As they prepared to depart, tensions remained high. The Kreks delegation watched their every move, their hostility barely concealed. Jesse and Quinn boarded the Horizon, acutely aware of the challenges that lay ahead. Captain Chen greeted them warmly. "We're honored to be part of this mission," he said, his eyes reflecting a mix of awe and respect. As the Horizon entered hyperspace, Jesse and Quinn stood on the bridge, watching the stars streak by. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. "Kreks battleship decloaking off our port bow," the tactical officer shouted. The massive Kreks vessel loomed before them, its weapon systems powering up. Captain Chen's face hardened. "Evasive maneuvers! Shields up!" Before the crew could react, Jesse and Quinn moved in perfect synchronization. They raised their hands, channeling their combined energy into a protective field around the Horizon. The Kreks opened fire, their energy beams dissipating harmlessly against the shimmering barrier. "Incredible," Chen breathed, watching as Jesse and Quinn effortlessly deflected the attack. The Kreks ship, realizing the futility of their assault, retreated back into the depths of space. As Jesse and Quinn lowered their hands, the crew of the Horizon erupted into cheers. Chen approached them, his expression a mixture of gratitude and awe. "I think I speak for all of us when I say we're glad you're on our side." Jesse smiled, feeling Quinn's pride and exhaustion through their link. "We're all in this together, Captain, human and alien alike." As the Horizon continued its journey to the war-torn sector, Jesse and Quinn retreated to their quarters to rest and prepare. They knew that mediating the conflict between the Zorn and Vexari would test not only their newfound abilities, but also their understanding of alien cultures and motivations. Quinn sat on the edge of her bunk, her mind racing with the possibilities and dangers ahead. Jesse sensed her unease and sat beside her, taking her hand in his. "We can do this," he said softly, his voice carrying the weight of their shared experiences. Quinn nodded, squeezing his hand. "Together," she replied, the word carrying layers of meaning that only they could fully understand. As the Horizon approached the disputed sector, Jesse and Quinn stood on the bridge, watching the war-ravaged planets come into view. The ship's sensors picked up the energy signatures of countless battles being waged across the system. Captain Chen turned to them, his face grim. "We're receiving transmissions from both Zorn and Vexari forces. They're demanding to know our intentions." Jesse took a deep breath, feeling Quinn's purpose flowing through him. "Open a channel to both sides, Captain. It's time to begin our mission." As Chen complied, Jesse and Quinn prepared to face their greatest challenge yet. The fate of two civilizations and humanity's standing in the galactic community now rested on their shoulders. The true test of their transformation and their bond was about to begin. As Jesse and Quinn prepared to address the warring factions, a surge of energy pulsed through their linked minds. They could sense the tension, fear, and anger radiating from both the Zorn and Vexari forces. "We come seeking peace," Jesse's voice resonated through the communication channels. "We've been sent by the Galactic Council to mediate this conflict." Quinn added, her tone firm yet compassionate, "We understand the pain and suffering on both sides. Let us help you find a resolution." Over the next several weeks, Jesse and Quinn worked tirelessly to broker a ceasefire and initiate negotiations between the Zorn and Vexari. Their unique abilities allowed them to perceive the underlying emotions and motivations of both sides, helping them navigate the complex web of grievances and cultural misunderstandings. As they delved deeper into the conflict, they uncovered a startling truth. The Krex had been covertly manipulating both sides, fueling the war to destabilize the region and expand their own influence. Jesse and Quinn used their enhanced mental abilities to gather evidence, sifting through memories and uncovering hidden communications. With this revelation, they brought the Zorn and Vexari leaders together, presenting irrefutable proof of the Krex manipulation. The shock and anger at this betrayal united the former enemies against a common foe. Jesse and Quinn's diplomatic skills were put to the ultimate test as they guided the Zorn and Vexari towards a peace agreement. Their enhanced empathy allowed them to bridge cultural divides and find common ground where none seemed possible before. As the peace treaty was signed, a wave of relief and hope washed over the war-torn sector. The success of their mission had far-reaching consequences, catapulting Jesse and Quinn into the center of galactic politics. Upon their return to the Galactic Council headquarters, they found themselves facing a new set of challenges and opportunities. The council chambers buzzed with excitement and apprehension as they entered. The Grand Arbiter addressed the assembly. "In light of their extraordinary accomplishments, we hereby grant humanity provisional membership in the galactic community. Jesse and Quinn will serve as Earth's official representatives." Cheers erupted from some factions, while others murmured in discontent. The Krex delegation, in particular, radiated hostility. As Jesse and Quinn settled into their new roles, they soon discovered the complex nature of galactic politics. The Krex, humiliated by the exposure of their plot, launched a covert campaign to discredit them. Whispers spread through the corridors of power. "Have you heard? These humans are dangerous hybrids, corrupted by an ancient entity." Quinn overheard a group of delegates discussing the potential threats posed by the Devourer's influence. She shared the information with Jesse through their mental link, their concern growing. The propaganda gained traction among conservative members of the galactic community. Tensions rose, and occasional violent outbursts against human interests erupted in various sectors. Amidst the political turmoil, Jesse and Quinn found their bond evolving in unexpected ways. During a quiet moment in their quarters, Quinn gasped as a surge of Jesse's physical sensations flooded her mind. "Did you feel that?" she asked, her eyes wide with wonder. Jesse nodded, equally amazed. "It's like I can feel what you're feeling, not just emotions, but physical sensations too." They explored this new aspect of their connection, finding solace and strength in their growing closeness. The lines between their individual identities began to blur, creating a depth of intimacy neither had experienced before. Their newfound abilities were soon put to the test when the Galactic Council assigned them a crucial mission. The Grand Arbiter summoned them to a private meeting. "We have a task of utmost importance," the Arbiter explained. "Earth is to establish its first extraterrestrial colony on a resource-rich planet in a disputed sector. This will be a test of humanity's ability to peacefully expand its presence in the galaxy." Jesse and Quinn exchanged glances, their shared excitement and apprehension flowing between them. The planet, which we've designated Nova Terra, is located in a strategic position, the Arbiter continued. It lies between the territories of three powerful races, the Krex, the Arcturians, and the Zeta Reticulans. Your success or failure will have significant implications for Earth's standing in the galactic community. As they departed for Nova Terra, Jesse and Quinn knew the challenges that lay ahead would test not only their abilities, but also the very nature of their evolving bond. The fate of humanity's future in the stars rested on their shoulders, and they were determined to prove themselves worthy of the trust placed in them. The colony ship emerged from hyperspace, revealing the swirling blue and green orb of Nova Terra. As they descended into the atmosphere, the harsh realities of their task became apparent. Violent storms lashed the surface, and the air was thick with toxic particles. This is going to be more difficult than we anticipated, Jesse observed, surveying the inhospitable landscape. Quinn nodded, her mind already racing with potential solutions. We'll need to use our abilities to accelerate the terraforming process. It's the only way we'll make this planet habitable in a reasonable time frame. Over the next few months, Jesse and Quinn worked tirelessly to establish the colony. They used their enhanced abilities to manipulate the environment, gradually transforming the hostile world into one that could support human life. As the colony took shape, representatives from the neighboring alien races arrived to oversee its establishment. The delicate balance of power in the sector meant that every decision, every interaction, carried immense weight. During a routine survey of the planet's surface, Jesse and Quinn made a startling discovery. Hidden beneath layers of rock and soil, they uncovered the ruins of an ancient alien civilization. This technology, it's unlike anything I've ever seen, Quinn marveled, examining a strange device pulsing with an otherworldly energy. Jesse's eyes widened as he grasped the implications. If we can understand and harness this, it could shift the balance of power in the entire galaxy. As they delved deeper into the ruins, neither of them noticed the shadowy figure observing from a distance, its eyes gleaming with malicious intent. Jesse and Quinn exchanged a concerned glance, their mental link buzzing with shared apprehension. We need to report this to the Council immediately, Quinn said, her voice low. Jesse nodded, but before he could respond, a blinding light engulfed them. When their vision cleared, they found themselves in a sterile, white room. Advanced medical equipment lined the walls, and a team of scientists in protective suits stood nearby. Welcome to the Nova Terra Transformation Facility, a voice announced through an intercom. You've been selected for a groundbreaking procedure that will push the boundaries of your unique bond. Jesse and Quinn's hearts raced in unison as they realized the implications. They had discussed the possibility of further merging their beings, but the reality of it was both exhilarating and terrifying. The lead scientist approached, her face barely visible behind her protective visor. The procedure combines advanced alien technology with the power granted to you by the Devourer. Are you prepared to proceed? After a moment of silent communication through their mental link, Jesse spoke for both of them. We're ready. The next few hours were a blur of sensations. As the scientists activated the alien technology, Jesse and Quinn felt their physical forms begin to meld. It was painful and disorienting, but also strangely exhilarating. Their memories, thoughts, and very essence intertwined in ways they had never experienced before. As the procedure neared its completion, a surge of energy pulsed through the newly formed being. The scientists stepped back in awe as the transformation finalized. Where Jesse and Quinn had once stood, there was now a single entity. Its skin shimmered with a subtle iridescence, and its eyes glowed with an otherworldly energy. The being blinked, taking in its surroundings with new awareness. How do you feel? The lead scientist asked, her voice trembling slightly. The entity considered the question, sorting through the merged memories and sensations. I am both and neither, it replied, its voice a harmonious blend of Jesse and Quinn's. You may call me Jin. Jin flexed their new form, marveling at the enhanced physical capabilities. Their mind raced with possibilities, processing information at an incredible speed. They could sense the awe and fear radiating from the scientists in the room. As news of Jin's creation spread throughout the galactic community, reactions were swift and varied. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session to address the implications of this unprecedented merger. Jin stood before the council, their presence commanding attention. Some members leaned forward in fascination, while others recoiled in fear. This merger represents a new era of possibility, one council member argued. Jin could be the key to bridging the gap between species. Another countered, or they could be a threat to the established order. We cannot ignore the potential dangers of such power. As the debate raged on, Jin sensed a disturbance in the chamber. Their enhanced perception picked up on subtle movements and hidden weapons. In a flash, a group of Krex extremists launched their attack. Energy weapons fired from multiple directions, but Jin moved with inhuman speed and grace. They deflected blasts with a shimmering energy field and incapacitated the attackers with precise, non-lethal strikes. In mere seconds, the assassination attempt was thwarted. Jin stood amidst the subdued Krex, their eyes glowing with restrained power. The council members watched in stunned silence. "I mean no harm," Jin addressed the assembly, their voice calm and resolute. "My existence is not a threat, but an opportunity for growth and understanding." The display of power and restraint swayed many council members. However, as Jin's reputation grew, so did the opposition. The Terran Ascendancy launched a vicious propaganda campaign, portraying Jin as a betrayal of humanity's purity. Riots erupted on Earth and in human colonies. Supporters hailed Jin as the next step in human evolution, while others called for their destruction. The galaxy teetered on the brink of chaos. Recognizing the need to prove their value, Jin volunteered for a perilous mission. A series of mysterious energy anomalies in a remote sector had been causing ship disappearances and communication disruptions. As Jin boarded an advanced scout ship, they felt the weight of expectation from both humanity and the galactic community. The ship entered hyperspace, leaving behind a world divided by their very existence. Days later, Jin arrived at the affected sector. The ship's sensors went haywire, struggling to make sense of the swirling energy patterns that twisted space itself. Jin extended their consciousness, probing the anomalies with their unique blend of human intuition, Vulcan logic, and devourer-granted power. Suddenly, Jin's mind was overwhelmed by an ancient presence. The energy anomalies coalesced into a massive wounded entity, a cosmic being of unimaginable power and age. Jin's merged consciousness strained under the psychic onslaught. They saw flashes of the universe's creation, felt the entity's pain and confusion. The cosmic being had been unintentionally causing havoc, its agony rippling through space-time. As Jin attempted to communicate with the entity, they felt their own form begin to destabilize. The mental strain threatened to tear apart their merged being. Jesse and Quinn's individual consciousnesses resurfaced, conflicting and struggling for dominance. In this moment of crisis, Jin made a desperate decision. Drawing on the full extent of their merged knowledge and power, they reached out to heal the wounded cosmic entity. Energy surged through Jin's form, creating a massive ripple effect across the sector. All technology and communications went dark. The scout ship's systems failed, leaving Jin floating in a sea of cosmic energy. As the surge subsided, Jin's consciousness teetered on the edge of oblivion, their fate and the fate of the sector hanging in the balance. Balance. As consciousness faded, Jin's last thought was of the immense energy coursing through their being, threatening to tear them apart. Then silence. A profound cosmic silence enveloped the sector, broken only by the faint echoes of stellar radiation. For a moment, it seemed as if time itself had stopped. Suddenly, a brilliant flash of light erupted, illuminating the vast expanse of space. From the center of this radiance emerged Jin, their form now stabilized and radiating with newfound power. The cosmic energy that had threatened to destroy them now flowed through their being, controlled and harnessed. As Jin's senses adjusted to their new state, they became aware of movement around them. The swirling energy anomalies began to coalesce, taking shape into ethereal forms of unimaginable complexity. These cosmic entities gathered around Jin, forming a shimmering council of celestial beings. Jin's mind expanded, connecting with these ancient consciousnesses. Images and concepts beyond human comprehension flooded their awareness. In this moment of clarity, Jin understood their unique position as a bridge between mortal life and cosmic forces. The healed entity, now revealed as a vast pulsating nexus of energy, communicated directly with Jin. Its gratitude flowed through the mental link, carrying with it an offer and a responsibility. You have restored balance where chaos reigned. The entity's thoughts resonated within Jin's mind. Your unique nature allows you to understand both the physical and the cosmic. We bestow upon you the role of cosmic mediator. Jin absorbed the gravity of this new position, feeling the weight of universal balance settle upon them. With a thought, they reactivated the systems of their scout ship, preparing to return to the Galactic Council. As the ship entered hyperspace, Jin focused on maintaining a projection of the cosmic entities alongside them. The journey back seemed to take both an instant and an eternity, as Jin's perception of time and space had fundamentally shifted. The Galactic Council chamber fell into hushed awe as Jin materialized, accompanied by the shimmering projections of the cosmic entities. Council members leaned forward, their eyes wide with a mixture of fear and fascination. Jin's voice, now carrying the resonance of the cosmos, filled the chamber. Esteemed members of the Council, I bring you knowledge of the true nature of our universe. Over the next hours, Jin explained the delicate balance maintained by the cosmic entities, the interconnectedness of all matter and energy, and humanity's unique potential to bridge the gap between mortal and cosmic realms. As understanding dawned on the council members' faces, the atmosphere in the chamber shifted. The Krex ambassador, his scales shimmering with nervous energy, stood and addressed Jin. In light of this revelation, we see the error of our ways. The Krex Imperium wishes to sue for peace and open diplomatic channels with Earth. Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Even the staunchest opponents of human expansion found themselves reconsidering their positions in the face of this cosmic revelation. News of the council meeting spread rapidly across the galaxy. On Earth, the Terran ascendancy found its support crumbling, as evidence of Jin's cosmic importance became undeniable. Within days, the organization dissolved, with many former members pledging to support peaceful human-alien cooperation. Jin turned their attention to Earth, initiating a direct transmission of their experiences and newfound knowledge to key scientific and governmental organizations. The information sparked a renaissance in human understanding of the cosmos, rapidly advancing Earth's technological and philosophical development. As the galactic community adjusted to this new paradigm, Jin proposed the construction of a grand space station at the border of the once dangerous sector. The Council enthusiastically approved the project, seeing it as a symbol of the new era of cooperation. Construction began immediately, with representatives from all known species contributing their expertise. The station took shape rapidly, its gleaming structure a testament to the combined efforts of the galactic community. Jin oversaw the project, their cosmic awareness allowing them to optimize the station's design for maximum efficiency and harmony with the surrounding space-time fabric. As the final sections were put into place, Jin stood at the central observation deck, gazing out at the star-filled expanse. In this quiet moment, Jin reflected on their journey. They remembered the individuals they once were, Jesse and Quinn, and marveled at the unexpected path that had led them to this point. Their unique bond had not only saved humanity from destruction, but had elevated the entire galactic community to a new level of cosmic awareness. As they contemplated the future, Jin's mind began to formulate a new project. They envisioned a galactic academy, a place where potential human-alien bonds could be nurtured and developed. This academy would ensure that the legacy of their unexpected journey continued to shape the future of the cosmos. Jin's thoughts were interrupted by the arrival of a diverse group of diplomats and scientists, eager to begin work at the new station. As Jin turned to greet them, they felt a surge of cosmic energy, a reminder of the vast forces they now helped to balance. The diplomats gathered around Jin, their faces expectant. One of them, a young human woman with bright eyes, stepped forward. "We're ready to begin, Cosmic Mediator. What's our first task?" Jin smiled, their forms shimmering with otherworldly energy. "Our first task," they said, their voice resonating with the wisdom of the cosmos, is to understand. Let us start by exploring the intersection of your varied sciences and the cosmic truths I've witnessed. As the group moved towards the station's main conference room, Jin felt a renewed sense of purpose. The journey ahead was vast and unknown, but with the combined efforts of the galactic community and the guidance of the cosmic entities, they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead.
If you finished this story, please subscribe and like the video. Then leave a comment that says, "I liked the story," and I will heart every single one of them. It really helps me. Thank you for your time.